welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, November 22nd, 2008. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The economic growth outlook for SVG is looking positive this year. This was noted in a new report released by the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. The report is based on preliminary findings from an official site visit, which forms part of the IMF's monitoring programs. SVG-TV Barvin Oliver tells us more in this report on SVG's economic outlook by the IMF.
The latest report on SVG's economic outlook, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, says this country can expect a 2% growth this year and a 2.3% growth in 2019. The news comes as SVG continued to recover from the closure of the Bukamet Bay Resort and the effects of adverse weather, which slowed growth in 2016 and 2017. The report further indicates that the expected growth is as a result of increased tourism arrivals, investment in resorts and hotels, and related activities. The IMF believes that the growth can be maintained into 2020 at a 2.3% rate with continued investment in the sector. The report also indicates that further growth for SVG can be realized with the completion of the geothermal power plant. The IMF said the benefits of the Argyle International Airport is visible and gave a few recommendations which will allow the benefits to extend beyond the tourism sector. This includes a reduction of red tape, streamlining of tax incentives, and minimized tax concessions. The International Financial Organization also called for the revamping of Invest SVG, making it a one-stop shop. In other areas of the economy, the IMF indicated that while it welcomes a government commitment to bring the debt ratio down to 60% by 2030, the government must reduce surplus to 1% of the GDP. It said this can be done by constraining the wage bill to 3.5% a year and setting a capital expenditure of 3.9% of GDP. The IMF said given the country's vulnerability to natural disasters, the creation of a contingency fund will be wise in order to protect finances. For SVG-TV Evening News, I am Barvin Oliver.
Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar has said that international researchers are welcome in SVG to carry out investigation on the different strains of marijuana which could be found here and used to treat various health problems. Minister Caesar was at the time addressing a live Facebook discussion on the medicinal cannabis industry bills, which are before a parliamentary select committee.
What we intend to do at the ministry is to take samples from these different areas to reproduce them in the lab by way of tissue culture reproduction, and to have persons who are into those levels of research come into St. Vincent and the Grenadines and study these different strains. Because if we are to have an absolute advantage in any particular area within the emerging medicinal cannabis industry, one of those areas that we have to pay careful attention to is whether or not we have particular strains in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that we can test and that we can prove can address certain ailments.
Caesar noted that SVG is paving the way for other CARICOM countries who are likely to adopt a similar cannabis industry.
What is being advocated, and not only in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but in Jamaica, in Colombia, where there is a movement towards the establishment of medicinal cannabis industries, is that for persons who produce illicit cannabis to join the framework that is being established for the production of medicinal cannabis. And there is a school of thought that very soon you will not only be hearing about emerging industries for medicinal cannabis in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Jamaica within the context of CARICOM, but that you will be hearing about it emerging in other member states of CARICOM.
Meanwhile, Jamaican Richard Franklin, representing the Cannabis Association of Jamaica on the panel, revealed that he is currently using medical marijuana to treat his glaucoma. He highlighted other advantages of having the usage of marijuana legalized, noting marijuana in Jamaica is no different from that of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Hence, he sees it as a positive move by the country to have a medicinal cannabis industry.
There's so many spin-offs. Most people would think it's just a tree and there's buds and you create medicine from it. There's so many spin-offs that's gonna be like ecotourism, wellness tourism, treatment. There's a treatment facilities opening up in Jamaica right now. Particularly, there's one that specializes in oncology and cancer cure. And I have a group that's developing nutraceutical supplements right now from various plant life infusing with cannabis, ganja. There are so many things can be done in agro-processing. The Caribbean region they basically have a lot of medicinal plants that could be used and infused with cannabis to treat all kinds of ailments. The diversity of the industry speaks to medical practitioners, nurses, physiotherapists, farmers, obviously, bud tenders, and various other persons in the industry.
Minister of Education Sinclair Prince has challenged students across SVG to continue to strive for excellence in their academic pursuit despite their economic background. He made the remarks while addressing a ceremony at the SVG Community College today, where over 800 students who performed well in the 2018 CXC, CAPE and Associate Degree programs were awarded $500 each from the government. The CXC students were required to have 5 or more passes, including English and mathematics in grades 1 to 3. CAPE students needed 2 subject passes, grade 1 to 5, while students in the associate degree programs had to maintain a B average. Minister Prince said every year the requirements of the workforce get tougher and appealed to the students to continue to raise the bar academically.
$500 is the result of a policy decision by Cabinet and is designed to assist students in defraying school expenses and in particular costs associated with sitting external examinations. Of course, we give the $500 as a reward, as an incentive for you to do better as you go forward, and also as an incentive for those coming behind you to reach for higher heights. There was a time when 3 O-levels could get you a job. Nowadays, you know better than I do, that you at least have to have CAPE to be considered seriously. So the standards, the bar is being raised higher and higher as time goes on. This is a new world, it is a new dispensation, therefore we have to have a new attitude and a new reach for performance and excellence here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Minister Prince said the initiative by the government, along with the continued efforts to secure scholarships for students regionally and internationally, are some of the ways the government shows its commitment to education. He said the good results from students, on the other hand, is a testament to the hard work put in by education stakeholders, including the government.
The other scholarships which the government has sought out all over the world, in Morocco, in Canada, in Cuba, in Taiwan, in Europe. And the government has been trying to do this at the tertiary level. We have also been trying to do work at the other levels, at the college, at the primary schools, at the secondary schools. And you know of the many ways in which the government has been assisting. The Ministry of National Reconciliation, Information and Education wishes to acknowledge the invaluable contribution made by our stakeholders and partners to the enterprise of education. School leaders, teachers, as always, we recognize your invaluable contribution towards the education of the nation's children. Remember always to be mindful that all students are going to look to you for guidance, for care and motivation. So be sensitive and alert to their needs. And we have been trying to talk to these stakeholders over the years. We have encouraged teachers to deliver quality education. We have encouraged students to learn well. We have encouraged parents, we have implored them actually, to get involved more intimately in the education of their children. And I think these initiatives have been bearing fruits.
Qualified, skilled persons, as well as those who possess the skills but not the qualifications, are being encouraged to seize every opportunity to upgrade themselves. This encouragement came from the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Maureen Williams, who was speaking at the launch of the Sector Skills Development Agency website for the Technical Vocational Education, TVET, at French's House yesterday. The website was created to provide a wide variety of information on TVET, as well as to educate the public on what programs are available, where the training will be conducted, and the requirements needed to enter the various programs. Williams said TVET skills are crucial to the development of the workforce and considered the website a big step forward.
Is in everything. We cannot make it. This microphone we're using is as a result of TVET. And this website is bringing TVET closer to everyone. You can access this website, and as was pointed out by our Senior Education Officer, Mrs. Brown, you can get a myriad of information about TVET, about pathways she mentioned, about what TVET is all about. And I am very happy to see the area that you can actually go online and find out what is the requirement for specific courses. You may be there and you're saying, I want to do some data processing, or I want to look at maybe the whole area of food processing, or I want to look at electrical engineering. And you can see right off the bat what is required of you, so that you can keep abreast, you can ensure for yourselves that you are doing all that is necessary for you to get your certification.
The Permanent Secretary said it is her hope that the website can inspire persons to upgrade their knowledge and certification.
Encouraging for full certification, that persons at the end of their course of study would have completed all the given units in a particular area to qualify you for whether level 1 CVQ or level 2 CVQ. And I hope that the general public would make use of this website. I note that the website is intended to be used by students, by out-of-school youth, unemployed persons, skilled persons who are not certified, parents and guardians, so you can provide this sort of support even for your children who are in the technical institutes, and help to push them on to say, come, let me see how many units you've completed. What are you doing about your portfolio? What do you need? They can assist in getting you complete.
Meanwhile, Director of the National Qualifications Department, Kenroy Kittels, said that there continues to be a stigma attached to TVET despite all of its benefits. However, he is confident that the new website will help to change people's mindset about TVET.
Level, or the level in which persons are just as entry, learning the basic skills, to a level 2 where you become a more skills craft person, could operate more independently on your own, and level 3 you become more supervisory, level 4 more at a degree level, and level 5 in terms of the CVQs where you go to the top level, masters and so on. The point is, we have our national qualifications framework, which actually compares TVET to the general framework that is, and that you should become familiar with soon. In this month of our TVET activities, we are hoping to highlight all the different areas of TVET and to make the public aware of what is happening. Because we know if the public, the stakeholders are not informed, then we cannot achieve our objectives. And we really value our stakeholders in the industry, the private sector, in other government departments, who, with their help, TVET can reach to the next level and it can get this sort of respect that it deserves.
A retired sanitation worker wants the public to have a better appreciation for their work. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Randolph Pincham George said, sanitation workers are often mistreated and disrespected, and this should not be. George, who worked for 26 years collecting garbage in Kingstown and neighboring communities, said while he enjoyed his work, there were days when he just could not do it. He, however, admits that some sanitation workers contribute to the way they are treated, which he said he tried to change by being well-dressed on the job.
When I see the action of them, I say, I can't go down the road with them neither. I say, I will have to try to show them how to walk in this kind of area here. So I just say, look, I'm going to dress up, I'm going to put on my tie. Not office people alone supposed to wear tie. Tie make for anybody. So I try to be different. I try to be different by wearing my jacket and my tie to look different, because I just can't walk in the garbage and look like it. That is wrong. After all, we are human. And the kind of work, you have to protect yourself. Sometimes they put me in the worst place to walk, and when I don't walk, I look as clean as ever.
George is also reminding sanitation workers that they are at health risk daily and that they should wear the necessary protective gears.
And I think that is why some of the people around the area try to scorn us. They scorn because of that. So when some of them wearing back the dirty clothes and they walk, you know, the public must say, well, call me some ill name or something, you know, because looking like if we're the roast. I try to tell them, I say, not because you're walking in the garbage, you're supposed to look like it, not smell like it. But some of them is of the opinion that they will like to look like the garbage they're cleaning, and that is bad.
George also had some advice for sanitation workers, whom he said do make a difference by helping to keep the city clean. He feels that their employers should put a system in place whereby they are continually informed of health risks and how to behave on the job.
You cannot walk in the garbage and look like it, and that is wrong. They need somebody to talk to them down there. Or, whenever you're going to employ a worker down there, I think the bosses and them should bring the person upstairs and talk to them and tell them what they want. You know? Tell them what they're supposed to do and what they want. Don't just employ them just so. Because when they're permanent, you know, when they're permanent, they work in the home clothes, but once you're permanent, you get the government uniform. But these people who have the government uniform, some of them who is coming to work dirty, and it's the truth. You're getting show allowance $300, some of them coming to work in the slippers. And it need to stop.
After 22 years, a hawksbill turtle named Busybody returned to the ocean from the Park Beach in Beckway last Sunday. The hawksbill was kept at the Old Hedge Turtle Sanctuary, which is managed by Orton King, who said it was time to say farewell to the beloved turtle. SVG-TV's Larissa Pogsley Kidd captured the emotional send-off of the hawksbill and files this report.
Busybody was among the first batch of hundreds of hatchlings picked up by the Friendship Beach in Beckway 22 years ago by Orton King, who fed and took care of her. She survived along with 40 other hatchlings. While the others were released back into the ocean 4 years after hatching, King's children was not ready to part with the hawksbill, scared that she might not survive. However, on Sunday, with no family around, King said it was time to part ways with the beloved turtle. But before doing so, he fed her last meal of jackfish.
Time you're feeding her?
Yes. It is a sad moment because I've had her for 22 years. And not because she's a turtle, but we became very close. You know, she's my friend. I enjoyed her very much. She is the first and only turtle that I carried out in the sea at the age of 4 years. I drilled 2 holes in the back end and tied a leash and took her out snorkeling with me to prove to myself that turtles will adapt back to the ocean after being fed here, and she found her food in minutes. So she was taken out there many times after by my grandchildren and children. So I happened to be here this morning alone, none of the relatives, none of the children, none of the grandchildren around. So it was just that day for me to put that busy. But she has to go. She's old enough to go. She's 22 and they are supposed to begin to lay eggs at the age of 25. So she needs like 3 years out there to get into the system, to find her food, to find where to live and to mate, to come back to the beach.
The hawksbill was named Busybody by King's children as she was never stationary, always moving around the pool. King said she stayed in the pool by herself since she was too big and aggressive for other turtles. A staff member assisted King to remove the 80-pound turtle from her pool to be taken to the beach, which is just outside the sanctuary, to be released. King followed closely behind, talking to the turtle, then it was time to let go. Trying to hold back tears, King went on his knees, saying his last goodbye to Busybody.
So, Busy, you're going for good. Papa enjoyed you. I had good time to in the sea. I may never see you again because you're going to live at 200 years. Papa will be gone just now. I'm 80. So God's blessing with you, and I hope you can live 200 years.
As King and other staff of the sanctuary looked on, the turtle swam against waves into the deep. King said while he is not a marine biologist, he has 30 years as a diver and 23 years of dealing with turtles and know how turtles live.
Time by time, herself right out in the reef. She has to look for a place before sunset to go in the reef to rest tonight. They don't swim about and they don't feed at night. Yeah, but she's going to begin feeding all now. You see she is coming up. She's out there on the edge of the reef feeding. She knows what to look for. It's in her. Those are strong instinct animals, you know.
Alright, well, she's gone.
She's gone, I wish it was. She did some days. I was attached to that boat. There's no other left that I'm attached to.
According to research, hawksbill turtles usually return to the place they hatched, as it leaves an imprint on them. King is hopeful that Busybody will return in 3 years' time to Friendship Bay to nest. He has a mark of 2 holes drilled on the lower end of the turtle so that she can easily be identified. To date, King, who constructed the Old Heg Sanctuary in Belmont Beckway to preserve the hawksbill turtle, said he has released more than 900 hawksbill turtles. Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Larissa Pugsley-Kidd.
A number of Layou residents were yesterday informed on how they can make a positive impact in keeping their community clean through a transit walk initiative organized by the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority. Included in the walk were representatives from the RSVG Police, the Layou Town Board and other organizations who were in the community sharing with the residents the importance of proper waste disposal practices. Superintendent of Rivers, Beaches and Recreation Sites with the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, Rodika Tanis, said the exercise is one of many designed to tackle pollution.
We also did, prior to this transit walk today, a school visit. So we would have gone into the school, did a presentation with the grade 5 and 6. And do some education, because we realize that that is critical. Without the education, the attitudes would not change. Without the education, people would not understand the impact of solid waste on their community and how they're even harming their own selves. So we have done those 2 things. We have also done a river cleanup early in October, where we started over at the bridge and we clean between bridges. You know, we remove a lot of plastic bottles, snack packs, boxes, a lot of household material, cloths and chairs, metals and so forth. We would have removed those from the river. So we've been doing, you know, quite a number of things within the Layou community prior to this transit walk.
Tanis said the task is a challenging one and involves a wide cross-section of stakeholders to guarantee success.
Yes, and that is something that we looked for, because we know we do not, as agencies working with the community, we know we do not have all the answers, and we were very open today in terms of suggestions. So we would have asked pointedly for persons to suggest collection points, suggest things that the town board can do, suggest things that solid waste can do, suggest things that public health can do, and they would have been forthcoming with those. For example, some persons would have suggested in terms of the way that the garbage is collected. where those collection points can be, how it can be better facilitated. They would have suggested too that they have a bit more strong arm from the police when persons go and make a report, that they have that support, and at least they go and talk to persons when they notice them littering and so. So I would want to think that so far we have made an impact, and we're hoping in the coming months to see that positive change in the attitude of the persons living within Layu.
Lavon Ordain, a town clerk at the Layu Town Board, and Sergeant Arlene Williams of the Layu Police Station both considered the exercise timely.
Let you know that the public that litter is an offense, and you can and will be charged for the offense. However, before the offense has been charged and taken before the court, we need to be proactive, where we educate the public as to the merits and the demerits of litter. And there's no merit in littering. It's always a demerit, because when you litter, there are diseases, there are complications, not only to people but to marine life as well, because it's the rivers and the beaches these garbage end up in, and we really don't want that. So before we take you before the court, because people will say, oh, I don't know, but so we are informing you, we are educating you about the offense, point out the offense to you, and give you corrective actions where you can prevent the offense from happening by discharging of your litter into a receptacle. And on Tuesdays is a collection day in Layu, so you need to dispose of your garbage properly.
So everything, they got the garbage, everything, they throw it in the drains, in the street, in the river. So we're here with the national parks and the police and people of the community. We're just here to walk around, because they are going to implement that any garbage thrown or anything, they are going to the court. So we are walking and to let the people know that they must not put the stuff in the drains, they must do disposal of their garbage properly. 35 emergency services personnel will benefit from a Regional Security System RSS Incident Command System course. The training will run from Tuesday, November 27th to the 29th at the conference room at the headquarters of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO. The main objectives of the training are to improve SVG's joint emergency services response to critical incidents, especially at the command and control level, to enhance the multi-sectoral approach to the management of an incident or event, and to standardize the on-scene multi-sectoral coordination and management of an incident. Participants will be drawn from the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, Fire Department, Coast Guard, Her Majesty's Prisons, SVG Cadet Corps, NEMO Ministry of Health, Argyle International Airport, and SVG Port Authority. The facilitators for the training course will be Brigadier General Project Officer of RSS Training Institute, Earl Otters, and Warrant Officer 1, Sinclair Williams, Assistant Staff Officer at RSS Training Institute. At the opening ceremony on Tuesday, Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Michelle Forbes, will deliver welcome remarks, while Commissioner of Police Colin John will deliver brief remarks and declare the training course open.